Oh, hello, Lori. It's so good to see you. I would love it if you could please let us know who you are and what you do.
I'm sure. So my name is Lori, and I sold my insurance agency that I owned for over 30 years at the end of March, but was still there until basically May 1st. So yeah, so kind of
Wow.
kind of retired.
Wow. So, what ended up happening what was going on, I guess, before you decided to hire me?
What was going on before? Well, so I did have some, I mean, in between selling my business, I had some stuff going on with my parents were, having some health issues, basically. And then I would say that I did dabble a little bit with some job stuff, search and various degrees without going into it.
Right. And what was happening in your job search before we started to work together?
Again, I think I was dabbling, not focused. I mean, I did have a job interview or two that maybe I wasn't, they didn't work out basically. So I guess the word that I would use is just kind of like dabbling, maybe not 100% focused on my job search.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And what do you feel changed once we started our work together?
So I think what I started thinking that I needed a career coach. And like I was telling you earlier, I just felt like it was like for whatever reason, you and I came together. It was pretty seamless. But what changed is I knew that it was going to give me the focus that I needed. That I was looking for a job. It wasn't dabbling anymore. It's just more focused. Once you hire a career coach, and there's investment to it. So it's like you've invested, now you need to do the work to find your next, job or career, or whatever it is.
Of course. And I mean, you have a unique story in the sense that, you had your own really successful business for, a few decades ultimately, right? And, sold that business and then, trying to get back into the job market. Did you find that there was a bit of a hurdle in terms of like getting over that and have employers really recognize your experience and give you a chance basically to get back into this corporate world, right? That you had been away from, like being a really successful entrepreneur for so many years.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think I had to tweak my resume a little, tiny bit, because you don't want it to, you don't want them to think that you're, super super old, or that you're going to be, just there for a year or two, because that's not my situation. So it's just kind of, you're presenting your whole picture of, what you look like, who you are. So things definitely needed to be tweaked. Yeah, I mean, I think that a couple of times people did say that they were maybe a little bit concerned that as a business owner, was I coachable? I guess is the word that I sometimes heard. Are you coachable? And the word is yes, I'm coachable, and I'm really excited to be on my next chapter. So yeah, so that's one of the words that I think that I would mention, is that yes, that I am coachable even though I was a business owner.
Nice. And were there some changes that you made to your LinkedIn profile with the work that we did together that helped as well?
Yes, I did change that. To be honest with you, I'd never really put a lot of effort into it, because as a business owner, it's just not really a place that I'm not even sure that I 100% understood it all. So yes, I definitely changed it. And it was kind of funny because when I was doing an interview, one of the individuals that was interviewing me, he almost like read off a sentence off of something that I had written off of there. So I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so they actually are looking at these, profiles.
Definitely. Yeah. And well, let's talk about the results that you got. I'm excited for you to share. Because in the end, you interviewed for several companies, as I recall. I mean, every time we'd get on a call, it was like, you had almost like half a dozen list of interviews that were in progress. Can you share a bit more about that, and then ultimately the type of offer that you got.
Yeah, so my pipeline got really good. Yeah, it got really good. It got really exciting. But at the end, I think I really got down to two different companies that I thought would be a good fit. And kind of like I told you, it was very glaring where I was supposed to go, glaring in a good way. Like everything about it is basically where I saw myself at the end and at the end of the day. So it's with an insurance brokerage. They have really good benefits. I really liked the individuals that interviewed me when I went to the office. They felt really good about it. So it just feels right if that's the right word for it. And the funny thing is my pipeline was kind of, it was kind of coming to an end too. I would have needed to start, beefing it up again. But there was a lot of opportunities at the end, and I feel like I've chosen good. I feel very lucky and fortunate.
Nice. Yeah. In the end, it was the role that you wanted, right? Like of the list of different companies and roles that you interviewed for, that was the one that was kind of your one that you were really attached to and hoping to get, right?
Yes, I was very attached
Yes.
to it. Very attached to it.
Yes,
Definitely hoping
yes.
to get.
Definitely. And you know what? I counted actually the days from the time that we had our first one-on-one coaching session to the time that you had your offer, and it was 54 days only. I know
Mhm.
maybe, at some point it felt like longer, but that's quite the accomplishment to go from, having been self-employed to getting a new role, your desired role with your benefits and everything in 54 days. So you should be really
Mhm.
proud of that accomplishment. Yeah.
I think it's just about getting more focused. Because, like I said, I think when you're doing things on your own, it's just, again, you're just reminding yourself, like you've hired a career coach, let's go. It kind of forces you to be a little bit more motivated, I think.
For sure. Was there anything in particular about the program that you felt was also like really beneficial? So the focus and, having maybe that accountability, anything else that really stands out to you?
I really liked your one-on-ones. We had the group sessions that were on the Tuesdays with your other clients or whatever the right word is for it. It's just really interesting listening to them and what they were doing and their takeaways. So I liked that. I didn't get through your whole online program because I now have a job, so I don't really need to. I don't need to continue on. But I did take it really seriously. So in the mornings, I would do like an hour, hour and a half, whatever, not every single day. But I was like, again, you have paid for it. This is part of your program. So yeah, it was all interesting and easy and just had a good progression to it.
Nice. And before you decided to invest, was there any hesitation about it and how did you overcome it?
Invest with you in the career
Hmm.
coaching.
Yeah.
So you told me right off the bat, are you comfortable with X amount? So if you're not comfortable with X amount, then it's a waste of everybody's time, right? So you told me what it was going to be basically. And so I was like, well, okay. I guess if I hire, better be comfortable with X amount.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Because with the investment, you get a lot of value, but you also have that skin in the game, right?
Mhm.
If it was, a couple of $100s, I think it doesn't move as much, the needle as much for most people, right? To really be invested in getting what you came for, basically, right? Everything is there for you to get what you came for, but you also have to put in the work. And you did that in spades, right? Like kudos. I mean, you really did the work. I mean, every time we had a session, you had made progress and you had gained traction. And like you said, like you really built a solid pipeline. So kudos to you for taking it to heart, taking it seriously, getting focused, and ultimately, landing your target role. I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to share?
No, it's just different. Well, maybe yes. So it is different these days. Years ago when I was looking for a job, you'd get out the newspaper and you'd circle and you would call, and it's just not like that. And I also heard on the meetings that we'd have on Tuesdays or whatever with the groups, very successful individuals, but even they said the same things. And maybe they were even, they looked for jobs even more recently than me. And they said, geez, it's even changed for us, since a couple of years ago. It's just not the same. So if you don't know how to operate in this environment, it's a little bit challenging. So to get some extra help is well worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a skill ultimately. And yeah, it keeps on changing, this job market. So it's important to have everything up to date and to kind of be in the know, right, of how it's done today and how you can set yourself up to be competitive, right, and to really stand out in the market.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And sometimes it's just, reaching out to different people too. It's not just the ads, like you said, get onto the LinkedIn and, and you kind of explained how to do some different things. Because ultimately my story of how I got this job is kind of, interesting, or how I guess I got introduced to the owner of the company. It wasn't through a job ad. They actually were not even hiring.
Yes. Can you, I would love if you would share that because I feel like you did a really good job on the networking piece.
Yeah. So with this particular situation, just to keep it sort of basic, I had to call over many months ago and ended up talking to this individual at this company, and we didn't end up working together, but he's a really, really nice professional gentleman. So then I don't know at what point in time I reached back out to him again and just said, hey, I don't know if you remember me or not. We started to do some business together. That, I've sold my business. Are you guys doing any hiring there? Are you able to introduce me to the owner? And he actually did so much work, this gentleman, like he was on vacation, but he was like, hey, I have talked to the owner, and he just did a whole bunch of work for me. It was actually just so nice. And then introduced me, and I interviewed with the owner and then interviewed with the office manager. So yeah, it was just again, without really going into it and telling the whole situation, it's just interesting sometimes the story of how and why.
Yeah, people are surprised, right? We're always thinking, oh, I'm afraid to reach out to this person. Why would they help me? But, when you actually put yourself out there and make those requests, you'd be surprised, right? How willing people are to actually help, right? And
Yeah,
connect you with the
yeah.
right people.
And if
Yeah.
I'm asking, I always say no pressure. I always say no pressure.
Yeah.
If you hear back from them, great. If you don't hear back from 'em, it's just no big deal. But you just never know when they're actually like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that she sold her business. And yes, um, so no pressure, but you never know when you might be filling a void. If you hear back from them, great. And if you don't, that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The important part is to have, multiple opportunities kind of going at the same time until you have that offer, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited for you, Lori.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it's going to be inspiring to people, and I wish you all the best with your new role. I have no doubt you're going to do really well. They'll be lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for all of your help too. It's been really good.